King of the Road.
Thanks for watching the King of the Road show. I'm Jim King, reminding you to log on to the all-new JimKingOfTheRoad.com and register for Rich O'Toole concert tickets for Friday, September 10th at Starvin' Marvin's Bar and Grill in Beaumont. There's never a cover charge at Starvin' Marvin's, but you have to have tickets for this show, so log on to JimKingOfTheRoad.com as soon as possible and register. And the next time you're kicking back at Starvin' Marvin's, ask your waiter or bartender for free O'Toole concert tickets. During the next 30 minutes, we'll cruise to Corville's Catering and Special Events in Beaumont to check out the Band of Heathens. But first, we'll wrap up our exclusive interview and concert footage with legendary singer-songwriter Robert Earl Keen. Keen attended Texas A&M University, where he majored in English. Disappointed in the college station music scene, he began playing guitar and learned to read and write music. Keen graduated from Texas A&M and in 1980 moved to Austin and soon was performing in the city's nightclubs and live music venues, building a solid following. His fame has grown ever since. Ride shotgun with me as we cruise back to Ford Arena in Beaumont for the conclusion of our Robert Earl Keen exclusive.
One man has the power to take you behind the scenes. Jim King of the Road.
Jim King of the Road.
New York City with nothing but a song. Should have come around the man when she comes. We wound up in Woodstock at an old-time jamboree. We came to see the man behind the drums. Levi Dixie Doghouse playing in the band. And lots into that backbeat, it ain't hard to understand. Get your body moving, celebrate your soul. Leave on Dixie Doghouse, that's showing up rock and roll. Son of a plain dirt farmer from southeast Arkansas. He was born in a pair of rambling shoes. And up and down the highway and all around the world, laying down the rhythm and the blues. Levi Dixie Doghouse playing in the band. They lost into that backbeat, it ain't hard to understand. Get your mind moving, celebrate your soul. Leave on Dixie Doghouse, that's showing up rock and roll.
Robert Earl Keen, you went to Texas A&M, huh?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
That's all right.
I went to
a roughneck ordering 4 beers.
I think we went. You were probably a few years before me, but I remember hearing a lot about you and Lyle Lovett in those days, and you guys actually were neighbors there in
We sure were.
College Station.
I've known Lyle since 1976.
Before any of us knew who he was.
Yeah. But he was always incredibly talented guy. You know, I mean, I guess one reason we hooked up is because of the music. You know, and we had some similar interests and things like that. But he was a lot further ahead of me as far as like really sitting down and writing songs. I'd written some songs, but he had some full-blown tapes and stuff he made himself. I was just astounded, and a great singer.
So you guys used to play on the porch. In fact, you wrote a song called "The Porch Song," and I wish I would have paid admission to be on that porch. But
we had some good times there. I mean, I don't. By and large, they weren't as wild as some people think they were. They were just fun.
So there's a little beer involved with
that? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but it wasn't crazy. I mean, there's a few crazy things, but it wasn't completely out of control. It was, we were just having a good time. This house was it was really funky and sort of broken down, and my rent was virtually nothing. So we lived off virtually nothing. I was there for 3 years before I ever got a phone, and the last day I was there, there had been this air conditioner that was sitting above my bed in my room, and we never even thought to plug it in because it was so busted up looking and stuff. Last day I was there, an old man came by and said, "You know, I used to live in this house. This is an old house." Said, "Yeah, I used to live in this house." Of course, we didn't have air conditioning back then, and I just decided not to even talk to him about that. So I let him walk through, and he walked off. I thought, you know what? I never checked out the air conditioner. So I got a 2x4 and went over there, and I propped that air conditioner up. I went back around my room, and I plugged it in. Boom! It just hummed. It blew out cold as air. It's just like a refrigerator.
And did you suffer before then? Or?
It was hot as hell at that house. I mean, there was no wind a lot of times there in the Brazos Valley, right? I couldn't believe I spent all my time there at College Station, no AC, and I had it right there above my head. So there's the true Aggie joke right there. So this guy comes into this IHOP. He said, and breakfast time, the woman says, "What can I do for you?" He said, "I'd like to order some breakfast." She said, "What'd you like?" He said, "Well, I like some coffee. I want it black. I want it not just black, I want it burnt black." She said, "Okay." He said, "What else would you like?" She said, "I'd like some eggs. I'd like them burnt black, burnt black." He said, "How about some hash browns?" He said, "Black. I want them burnt black." So she brings them out there. It's all just charcoal on this plate. She says, "Is there anything else I can do for you?" He says, "Yeah, can you sit down there and nag at me for a little while?" Thank you very much. I'm just throwing it out for the clown guy, man. Just you know, a little bit extra material. You ready? Yes? Oh, yeah. All right. Burning daylight, holding my own. I've been doing all right, leaving well enough alone. My daddy told me I was lazy. My mama said, "I love you too." I kinda like just doing nothing. It's something that I do.
Well, was College Station kind of a hotbed for Texas country? Or Texas country really wasn't even a genre in that day, was it?
No, not really.
That's something that
that was, you know, there's kind of a spin-off from you know, what was happening in Austin in the early and mid '70s. You know, the whole Willie Nelson and Greasy Wheels and Frida and the Fire Dogs and all these crazy bands that were running around. I mean, you know, in the end, it's like Gary P. and Jerry Jeff and Willie were about the only ones that kind of made it out of the melee, but it was big at that time. And then when I moved to Austin in the early '80s, it was a whole blues scene. It was all about Stevie Ray. And
it was a great town then too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic town, but it was all about blues. Yeah. You couldn't find a country band.
I remember that was like the Texas rock sound was really big, and there was one band I really liked back then. It was called the Skunks. Remember the Skunks?
Yeah, a great band.
They broke up. They were like one of my favorite. They were kind of a punk rock band.
Right.
I lived there too, there in the early '80s, and it was a great town. I left in '83, and then it just got huge.
I'm the walrus, my baby says, goo-goo-goo-choo. I kinda like just doing nothing. It's something that I do. He kinda likes just doing nothing. It's something that I do. All right.
Don't you know there's the sugar in that black coffee?
It's the King of the Road Show, and coming up next, we'll cruise to Corville's Catering and Special Events in Beaumont to check out the Band of Heathens.